going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Horror Movie Review with Daniel Richardson. And yes, hope you guys had a great 4th of July. But we're back. Got another weekend of tapings coming out. So I don't know how you guys' 4th of July was. It's not gonna lie, like I was just going crazy at the store. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm hating people. Like more and more legitimately hating people. And like literally, they get no crazier than around the holidays. And we're supposed to be social distancing and wearing your mask, and no one's doing that shit. And it's so fucking annoying. And on top of that, they're just idiots. Like where I come from, just a bunch of idiots anyway. So I don't know. It was just one of those things where I'm just like, it sucks that Corona is killing old people instead of stupid people. Like it really should just start attacking like IQ levels. Take out that bottom layer. Which I ain't gonna lie, I may get taken out as well. So. But then if I'm taken out, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. So either way, it's a fucking win-win. So anyways, welcome back to another episode. And this week, our big main event's going to be the original Evil Dead. That's right. I did the remake, I don't know, about a month ago or so. And I fucking hated it. And I was like, you know what? Let's rectify it. Let's do the original. And let me tell you about why this is so much better than that shitty remake. But you know the rules here. We're going to start with some horror movie news. So, past week, Joe Bob Briggs has posted on Twitter. He was talking about how I guess a lot of people have been making these bootleg Monster Vision DVDs, which is, I'm presuming, just ripped from old VHS tapes, or people found it on YouTube or whatever. They're making, you know, their own little box sets or whatever, but they're selling like really ridiculous, you know, price. But anyways, he wanted to tell everybody that you know, don't be buying for them. In fact, there may be an official release coming out soon, which I'm pretty pumped about that because, you know, I love me some Monster Vision. Grew up on it, like I said, and I mean, I'm so glad that the last drive-in's, you know, back and everything. Because to me, I mean, even though he had 3 different shows, they're all the same thing. To me, it's just Monster Vision across the board. Like to me, that's what the show is. So, anyways, so yeah, a DVD coming out, and I mean, it'd be kind of cool because I'm curious like what kind of special features he'll have on there. If he'll have different, you know, featurettes or commentary tracks, who knows? I don't know. He's a guy I always enjoy listening to his commentary tracks. He did for I Swear on Your Grave and something else. Some old B movie I have. But it was great stuff. So, I mean, he really does add quite a bit. And then he, it was 2 episodes before the finale, I believe. They finally released Hogzilla, which was a thought to be lost old B-movie crap fest that actually had Joe Bob in it. And, I mean, it's a bad movie, but it was really fun watching it that night because everybody was just ripping into it on Twitter, and it was just a great time. But they were talking about possibly, I mean, they didn't say this, I mean, this is just, you know, they were asking, hey, if we release this on DVD, would you buy it? And I'm like, yeah, are you kidding me? Because, I mean, it'd be great. Yeah, it's good stuff. But anyway, so yeah, Monster Vision coming to DVD and Blu-ray hopefully soon, so... Up next, so apparently, I'm not sure what the company's called, but there's a company that's making these Game Boy style games, and I'm presuming like on Android or Steam or whatever, but they're horror themed as well, like not just, you know, Game Boy, but they're also horror. And I guess I got a new one coming out called The Third Shift. I saw bits of it. It looks like a blast. Like, I don't know. I like the idea of doing that. Like, having horror video game, like survival horror games, but like done in that old, what was that? That 8-bit? Was it Game Boy 8-bit? That old 8-bit look? I don't know. I think it looks incredible. And so, yeah, I'm really kind of pumped about that. I may actually get into some of these games. I'm not gonna lie. Video games is one of those things that just really passed me by. Like, I've never been a huge gamer, like, post-high school. Like, even after high school, I played a few things. But, like, I stayed to what I liked. Like GTA was one of those games I'd always stick around with. Madden was I hate sports, but I love Madden. So I'd always tear that up. Rock Band and whatever the newest wrestling game was, but that was really it. Like those 4 like genres, which are very different genres from each other. But that was it. I never did get into. I mean, and right now it's like a renaissance of like we're in a golden age of like horror video games, which I've played a handful. Simon, he likes that stuff. So like, you know, whenever like Friday the 13th was huge, I was playing it. And Dead by Daylight's another one I played. I mean, they're fun. It's just I will never go out of my way to buy these. Like if I'm at someone's house and they got it, I'll play. But beyond that, so I don't know. I think I'm very old school when it comes to video games. And unfortunately, like I think I'd be also at Mario. Like I don't know. That's the only thing I really hated because like Mario is always on a system I never had. Like, I had Super Nintendo. That was the last Nintendo system I owned where I was buying games as they came out. Like, I'd go back and buy the 64 or the GameCube, like, later down the road. But at that point, I wasn't really invested into it, and I didn't play the game as much. But, yeah, I was always more of a PlayStation guy. So, as soon as PlayStation came out, I was like, fuck Nintendo. I know, you can buy both or whatever, but, yeah. I never did. Always bought one. At least one that I'd buy the games as they came out. I'd always have other systems that would, I'd buy later on or whatever, but got on me playing about video games. This is a horror show, so let's get on to some more horror news, shall we? Mothman Legacy. Sorry, my handwriting was really sloppy. I was trying to read from here. Mothman Legacy is a new documentary coming out about the Mothman, West Virginia. Anybody familiar with the Mothman legend or whatever? Apparently, it's supposed to be some sort of giant moth creature, but apparently he always shows up right before something bad happens. There's a big bridge collapse. I want to say there's like some kind of fire that broke out. I've read stories online that date back to like it being spotted during wartime and stuff like that. It was made into a really great. I mean, I love it. It doesn't really get. It's very underrated. Like, don't really get a lot of love, but the Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere. Which I may be why, because I just don't like Richard Gere. But I loved him in this movie. Anyway, but that touched on it a little bit, which, as I'm watching it and reading all the stories, I'm just like, it's an alien. Like, that's what it is, right? Like, it's an alien. Like, it's not a moth creature, it's just an alien. But anyways, apparently there's been a handful of documentaries come out recently. This is actually like the second or third one in the series. But Mothman, but it looks like, anybody watched, I think it was called Nightmare, actually. It was a documentary about sleep paralysis. And it was kind of shot like, it was a documentary, but it was also shot very theatrically. Like, it had a lot of like, jump scares and very creepy looking. I mean, it's almost like you're watching an actual movie. And this looks like it's doing the kind of same thing. Where like, yeah, it's got a lot of talking heads and interviews, but at the same time, it's like it's also very good production value and a lot of cutscenes or whatever. Which I like that style. I mean, it reminded me of like watching like A Haunting, the series on, I think it was on TLC. Which they would go on to make A Haunting Connect and stuff like that. But just like, I like that, like the documentary intercut with reenacting footage or whatever. So, anyways, Mothman Legacy is coming out soon. I think it's supposed to get a theatrical release, but obviously because of the world we live in now, it's going to be a video on demand thing. But still, check it out. August 9th, Shark Week begins for all you Shark Week fans. I was never a fan of Shark Week. And it had to do with the fact that, like, I'm afraid of sharks, but, like, I love shark movies. So it's like, that has nothing to do with it. It was always like, I don't know. And this is horrible to say. And I mean, I really don't mean it. But at the same time, there's a part of me that kind of does. Like, you hear people like, I watch NASCAR for the wrecks. And it's like, that seems pretty morbid because wrecks will usually result in death. But that was the only thing I watched Shark Week for. Like, I remember one time they did a whole live special where these people went down in, like, I don't know, some kind of sunken ship, or it was something underwater, but there were sharks there, and they were there to, explore sharks, and, and they're like, it's live, so anything can happen, and I'm just like, I'm waiting to see someone get fucking mangled underwater, which is horrible. That's a human being with a life. Had parents. I don't know if he had kids or not, but he definitely had parents. That's the good thing about humans. You always know they have parents. But anyways, I want to see this guy mangled, though. Like, that's horrible, but that's all I want to see is just destruction. That's why I said with shark movies, because at least there you can get that. But Shark Week's always more. I don't know. I just feel like, what else can they do every week? Every goddamn year they do a Shark Week. It's just like, how much new footage can you really get? No new information about sharks. Although I guess the big thing they're doing right now is they're talking about how because of Corona and people, COVID-19, everybody's having to stay in and not be out in the water. They're saying the sharks have reclaimed the ocean. I'm like, I don't think they ever lost the ocean. I think that's one of those creatures that, no one's going to try to take the ocean from them, but yeah. And finally, coming out, I believe it's going straight to video. Maybe it's going to be on video on demand as well. There's a new Scooby-Doo movie, Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo. Now, let me just go through this plot, or from what I understand the plot's about. It seems like a fever fucking dream, but I'm sure it'll work. So Scooby and the gang are going up against Scarecrow. That's right, Batman Scarecrow. Jonathan Crane. There's no Batman as far as I know, but it's just like they just cherry-picked Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow, to be in the Scooby-Doo movie. And not only is Scooby and the gang battling Scarecrow, but they're going to be teamed up with Elvira and Bill Nye the Science Guy. What the fuck is going on here? I love it. But anyways, I mean, it just looks like Scooby-Doo fun. Like, Scooby-Doo's one of those things where it's just like, I never actively seek it out, but whenever I have like nephews or cousins that watch it, and like I get kind of roped into watching that, like I always enjoy myself. Like it's never one of those things like, it's like, no, I'm gonna sit down and watch it. I love me some Scooby-Doo, but I never like go out my way to watch it. That's the one thing. I don't think I mentioned on this show. Maybe I have. I don't know. But I got a kid coming. Little Adrian Michael Richardson is gonna be coming soon, and I really want to throw some Scooby-Doo at him. Like there's no way he can't like Scooby-Doo, right? Like everybody loves Scooby-Doo. He better anyways. I'll force it on him. I'll fucking Clockwork Orange his ass and strap his eyes open and be like, you're gonna watch this. Put the eye drops in there. He's freaking out like, no, it's Scooby. But anyways, that's the other one I'm really looking forward to as far as parenting goes. I can like watch all these like other movies like Scooby-Doo, stuff like that. I want to get him on like a horror path early on. And that's the best gateway right there, Scooby-Doo. Everybody loves monsters and Scooby, so. But anyways, yeah, Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo. That just seems like, it literally seemed like they just had like the board with a bunch of different names and characters on it, and they're just like throwing darts, and they're like, Scarecrow, Elvira, Bill Nye Science Guy. Fuck it, write the script, get them together. It's so random, but I love it, so. Alright, guys, so we're going to move on. Where's my paper over there? This is unprofessional. I'll be right back. But don't worry. It's right here. It's right here. Alright guys, we're back, and yes, it's the Horror Villain Battle Royal, and right now we got 9. That's right, 9 villains still in this Battle Royal. I'll run through the list quickly. We got Annabelle, the Thing, the Bride, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, Count Dracula, Frankenstein's Monster, the Invisible Man, the Mummy, and the Wolfman, still actively competing there. And after I count the vote, remember we're voting for who we want to kick off. Who's going to be eliminated is how we're voting. And after going through the votes, the Invisible Man has been eliminated. That's right, even a rebooted movie from Blumhouse could not save him. I gotta assume any number of the monsters could have just got a hold of him. They just saw his floating bandage head running around. Wolfman just gobbled his ass up. So there you go. The Invisible Man has been eliminated. That leaves us with 8. And remember, cast your votes for who you want to be eliminated. Annabelle, the Thing, the Bride, Creature from Black Lagoon, Count Dracula, Frankenstein's Monster, the Mummy, and the Wolfman. Those are the final 8 in the tournament, or sorry, in the Battle Royal. Is that 8? Yeah, it's 8. That's the final 8, so be sure to get your votes in, and the one you want to see eliminated. So, alright guys, let's get on now to our big main review here. We're talking about The Evil Dead, going back to 1981. The movie concerns 5 college kids going off to camp in the woods, or sorry, stay in a cabin that's in the woods, and yeah, they unleash these demons that start possessing them and taking them down one by one. Yeah, so if you want to see my review for the remake, look for it in the archives. I fucking hate that movie. I hated it. Like, seriously, flat out fucking hated it. And I'm going to explain numerous reasons why. But first, before I get into that, let me explain how I came across Evil Dead back when I was a kid. It's actually kind of a funny story because I didn't know The Evil Dead existed, or Evil Dead 2. But what I did know about was a movie called Army of Darkness, and I loved it. So when I was a kid, my uncle had Army of Darkness, and watched it. And I mean, to me, even though it's definitely, you know, horror elements, and it's clearly part 3 in a horror trilogy, I guess. To me, it's always been a comedy. Like, it's just a comedy. But I loved it. Even as a kid, I fucking loved that movie. And so, watched it when it came out. And then, like, 2 years later or so, so I was like 10 when I found out about Evil Dead. My uncle was telling me, like, you know, there's actually a couple movies that came out before Army of Darkness. And I was like, really? An Army of Darkness trilogy, my God. And so, he had them both, and because I mean, I guess he didn't know at the time or whatever, for whatever reason. But he, or if he did, he didn't tell me about it, but he just told me, he goes, yeah, he goes, Evil Dead 2. I was like, awesome. So I get them, and I borrow them from him, and I'm like, okay, wait to watch it. Now I'm fucking 10 years old, maybe 11, I don't know. It was pretty early. I was still a child. I was pre-pubescent. So I'm expecting this hilarious, awesome comedy with some spookiness to it. And I throw in part 1 and I sit down. I mean, I'm by myself. I'm in the room upstairs by myself. You know, lights are out. I'm a kid ready to laugh and watch Bruce Campbell getting some crazy hijinks. and literally right off the bat, I can just tell, like, holy shit, this is not a comedy. I can't think, like, well, maybe it'll come. Like, the last will come. I can't wait. I'll stick it out. You know, we're going to get to some, you know, crazy stuff first, but then, you know, and it's just like, no, never happens. And I remember the part that really made me jump the most was, not Linda, Cheryl, when she turns, when she's at the window looking out, and the whole time, you know, the other two girls, Linda and Sherry, they're looking at their cards, and, you know, they're like, you know, can you guess the card? And the other girl's guessing. I mean, she's completely off every time, but, you know, Linda's being polite. She's like, oh, yeah, you got it right. And then you see Cheryl, and then she starts saying them. You know, she's like, Queen of Spades, Ace of Hearts, you know, and then she turns around. And, I mean, I jump up like 10 feet. The light came on. Didn't turn the movie off. So I was investing. The movie's fucking awesome at this point. But light comes on. I was like, oh, watching this movie now. Watching it like it's a horror movie because it's a horror movie. I'm in the horror movie world. But I loved it. I fucking loved it. It's funny because it's a really stark or very stark contrast to the Army of Darkness. In fact, it's funny because like the second one, which is actually unpopular opinion, that is like one of my least favorite movies. Period. Anyways, like I was never huge on Evil Dead 2. I know it's like the holy grail of the trilogy for everybody, but I just personally was not huge on it. I love 1 and 3. And yet, one is like rooted deeply in horror, and the other one's like rooted in comedy. But it's just like 2, I wasn't huge on, and we'll do a review for 2, I'm sure, at some point down the road. But Evil Dead 1 scared the shit out of me as a kid, but I just loved it. I don't know, it was raw. It was just real looking. Like, I don't know, low budget. And I think that's the thing that a lot of horror remakes don't understand, or the studios don't get it. Or they do, they just don't care, it's for the money or whatever. But it's like, that's the aesthetic appeal of a lot of these movies, is that, you know, all these movies that, you know, came out, they were just originals, most of them independent. Very dirty, raw, you know, very, you know, low budget. I mean, that's the best word for it, is very low budget. And these directors were so talented that they were able to take a low budget movie. And like I said, I don't know how much Evil Dead, I mean, I don't know money on these movies, but it's like, Evil Dead was like shoestring budget, like if that, like literally cheap. But Sam Raimi knew how to direct. Like, he knew how to make very no budget special effects and make things look really great. And even though like now you can watch it and be like, yeah, I know how he did that or whatever, it doesn't matter, it's still great. And so when you throw a ton of money at the camera and you get someone behind this camera who doesn't really have no passion for it, but they're just like, it's a job, I'm, you know, remaking this horror film for the studio, it's like it loses quite a bit of its magic. And that's all that. I think that's the exact reason that Evil Dead remake sucked, because it was just glossy retread, redoing it, but just not doing it nearly as good. Yes, you know, looking back, it's like some of these, like, you know, all these horror movies didn't have the great acting, but it's like it didn't need to have great acting. It had very natural performances or fun performances. Like I said, no one's gonna watch Evil Dead and be like, wait a minute, you know, that guy who's not, I forget his name already. Was it Jack? Fred? I don't know. It's the other guy, the not Bruce Campbell movie. It's like, yeah, he's not a great actor, but it's like, it doesn't need to be. It's a fun movie. He's not, you know, he wasn't up for nomination, he wasn't up for any award or anything like that. But no, like I said, it's just one of those things where I think a lot of these movies, that's what they miss the point on, these remakes. They just literally are like, well, we got the name, we know the story, just go ahead and redo it. And make it look nice, we'll get money, we'll get special effects, we'll CGI some shit, don't worry about it. And that's why they fell, because there's no passion, there's no love for the material. And it's like, these people were telling great stories. You know, you could tell that when Sam Raimi did this, even though there wasn't in this version alone, he clearly had a lot of mythology built up around it. Like, you know, there was, you know, he knew his world. I think that's another thing that's really key to whenever you write a script, or any movie that has a great, you know, or any movie with a great script in general, is, you know, even if the story doesn't necessarily tell you everything, as long as the guy who's writing it knows, you get that sense that there's definitely more to this universe than they're letting on. That helps out, and that can be more, you know, clearly evident than, you know, the Evil Dead. One thing I always thought was kind of odd, which I mean now I kind of get it, I guess, but like I always love how like in Evil Dead, you know, they turn the tape recorder on, the passage from the book, you know, is on the tape recorder, and it unleashes the demons. But it's like, clearly those demons were there before. Like, maybe that helped them possess or whatever, or was helping them get stronger or whatnot. But it's like, you see the weird, unseen, roaming creature in the very opening movie. Like, the first shot is it just going through the woods. it was able to knock the cellar door open. So I mean, like clearly there's an evil presence there, even when they didn't. So I don't know. Everybody's just like, oh, he shouldn't read from the book or play that tape recorder. But it's like it would have got him anyways. Like I truly believe that. Bruce Campbell, just fucking awesome. What's funny though about this was, and this is like the one time I did defend the Evil Dead remake, which I'm ashamed to say that, but was whenever I was like, kind of knocking the main character on Evil Dead, they're like, well, you can't replace Ash. And it's like, well, no, you can't. But Ash wasn't really Ash in part 1. Like, he didn't develop that personality until like 2, but really, Army of Darkness is what we all know and love as our Ash. Like when you go look at Ash versus the Evil Dead TV series, he's channeling Army of Darkness, Bruce Campbell Ash. Like that's the version we all know and love. And like I think people just forget that. Like he was not the wisecracking kind of goofball in the first one. It's just he was just a nice guy getting slapped around and having shit fall on him for 90 minutes of the runtime, and at the end he gets hit by an unseen force, and then we get part 2. And that was it. Like he really didn't have any. In fact, when you watch the movie, see, I mean, once again, I didn't see it when it first came out, and I already knew that clearly he's the main character because he's in Army of Darkness. But like, I can see if you first watch this for the very first time, you're probably thinking the other guy's the main character because he's take charge. There's several scenes where like Ash would grab like the axe or shovel or whatever, and as like the monster's attacking somebody, he's just in the corner like shaking, freaking out, pussy for sure, and you're just like, holy crap. Like, this is your hero? But I think it's one of those unsuspecting things. Like, maybe if you watch it for the first time, had no idea about anything, it would be kind of like, oh, yeah, like, that's crazy. See him actually kind of... And I mean, once again, it's a small arc, but you do see, like, he turns into the reluctant hero that we know and love today. But, yeah, starting off, he doesn't do that. In fact, well, this movie did really good. 2 gets a lot of credit for this, but I feel like they did a really good job in this one. Was him slowly going insane in the cabin. Because, like, once everybody's dead, and even after he kills Linda or whatever, we get a good chunk of movie of just him in the cabin by himself going insane. And one of my favorite shots is when he looks in the mirror and he goes to touch it and he just kind of goes into the mirror. Of course, I mean, you can tell it was shot sideways and it's water he's touching, but still, it looks incredible. Like, I love that look. And just that whole vibe. So I mean, I don't know. I really loved how, and I know, like, and I won't deny 2 clearly does the him going insane more. What the hell is that? Noises outside. People going crazy. It's the purging outside right now. But I really love the psychological aspect of this movie. Once again, shoestring budget, and when you listen to commentary, because maybe people already know this, maybe seen so many documentaries or whatever made about it, but it's like, this movie was made in so many different pieces. Like, they shot a lot of the upstairs of the cabin, during the main shoot, and then they shot a lot of the basement stuff, like, months later. If not, maybe a year or so later. Like, different locations. But just like Sam Raimi knew what the fuck he was doing. Like, he knew how to cut all this together and make it look great. So, I'm not going to go through this thing beat by beat. Evil Dead is just, it's a great film. It really is a great horror film. Way better than the fucking remake. And the thing too is like they tried so much to like give everybody like a character in the new one. It's like you don't have to, this is literally just the most bare bones. 5 friends. Well, 2 of them are siblings, but the other ones are just friends. In the cabin, and we get right to it. All killer, no filler. We just get right down to the point, bare minimum. And what's wrong with that? And it works so much better. But is what it is. Guys, let me know what you guys think about the Evil Dead in the comment section down below. Is it your favorite? I don't know. I know everybody does this too. Personally, for me, Army of Darkness is my favorite, period. I don't know if I guess movie-wise, like, I'll go Evil Dead 2. If we had to go overall, like, everything, I'm going to go Ash vs. Evil Dead 2. Or Evil Dead, my second, and then third would be Evil Dead. And then Evil Dead 2. And then the shitty remake. But I don't know. Got a new Evil Dead coming out. And it's supposed to be like another reboot altogether, so I'm looking forward to that. Once again, do something different. I'm thinking remakes not just because they're soulless cash grabs, but it's like, I've already seen the story. Like, why do I want to see it again? Give me something different. That's all I want. That's all I want. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Oh, shit. Didn't always run, sorry. Hi. Thank you for watching that video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to our channel. All that good stuff you do right here on YouTube, go ahead and do it.
Check out our other videos. Go to our playlist. We got episodes of TPS TV, Journey Through the Dark Side. We got a new show coming out, the horror movie review with Daniel Richardson. This guy. And of course, our short film, Entropy. You can find all that and more right here on YouTube. And then check out, yeah, look at that. All of our social media right there. And we don't just, copy and paste like the same post and put it on all. No, that's ridiculous. 3 different platforms, 3 different posts. I mean, the behind the scenes stuff you see on Twitter will not be the same stuff you see on Instagram. So there you go, right there. So be sure to give us a follow and a like on all that right there. Keep up to date. Have you seen Unspeakable Acts yet? No? Come on. Pick you up the DVD right now. Links over there. Oh, yeah. It's only $7. $3 shipping and handling. And of course, if you've already seen it and you haven't seen the Public Domain Dungeon yet, boom, $5 DVD right there. So 5 S&P as well. Or sorry, 3 S&P as well. So there you go. Do that. And if you got the spare change, you want to hit us up, donate a little bit over here to TPS Productions. Our Patreon is right there. Oh, yeah. So that's all we... Oh, my God. Sorry. I'm getting fired, ain't I? Yeah, that's all we got. Thank you for watching.